Hello guys, it is Ital Sunny, and so I can get at least one video out in December, I'm going to be ranking my favorite art pieces I've made in 2023. So without further ado, let's begin. And if I sound off, it's because I'm sick, alright? This is quite possibly one of my favorite drawings I've ever made, and up until a few days ago, I've been having it as my wallpaper ever since I've made it. But to explain, this is a picture of Poochie from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, an anime guy, and I made a video about the process of making this drawing, so I'll probably put that in the description if you want to check it out, but TLDR is that I love the colors of this, I love the duality, I love the posing, there's a lot of symbolism in this piece, and I just love the fluidity, and I wish every art piece I made could be more like this, but then it'd take me forever to make anything at all, so I typically only go out this crazy once in a while, but it's just so nice to look at, and it means a lot to me personally. One thing that has always bugged me about this drawing, though, is Poochie's eyelash is not completely filled in, and if I were to change anything, that would be the one thing. Other than that, this is a certified banger in my humble opinion. Oh no, it's another JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan piece. Oh my god, who could have predicted this? All jokes aside, though, this was my attempt at a more horror-esque picture. I don't do them that often because I don't want to be seen as edgy, but I had an itching to draw Killer Queen. It's one of my favorite characters to draw, and since Killer Queen is supposed to be scary but never really is in the anime, I decided to do it myself. I really like the eyes particularly, and I think the graininess is probably at its best here. Additionally, this is one of the first times where I did the sketch overlay thing. I saw other people do it and thought it'd be pretty cool if I did it myself, so that's what I did, and I think it adds a pretty unfinished but also very cool feeling to it. Basically, it's the black sheep of all of my drawings I've done, but if you want to talk about grain, then here's another drawing. I also put this piece of art in another video, so that one will also be in the description. But yeah, it's a Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's, and I just wanted to do a very goofy, primal looking sketch of him with this over-dramatic lighting, and I absolutely love it. Specifically the eyes, I just love the texture of the eyes, they get a lot of focus. And I also think Foxy's pose is kind of funny, but I think the most impressive part of this is the rendering. Like, those curtains... God, those curtains are unbelievable. It took me so many layers, but I'm so proud of them. Even the gray texture of the wall is just so appetizing to me. Like, this is hands down one of the most aesthetically pleasing things I've made, at least in my mind. I think the only thing that could ever bring this down for me is that I've never been the biggest fan of Foxy, but I did just feel like doing his design that particular day. So, there's that. I really wanted to get that feeling like the night guard was looking at him with a flashlight. And even though the night guard is not present and maybe my story isn't that clear, I still think the rendering is cool. That's one thing I've really evolved this year, if you couldn't tell. My rendering has upgraded. Okay, I swear the entire video will not only be JoJo Bizarre Adventure fan pieces, but as for now, this is one of them. And I actually made her for my birthday video, so I'm gonna link that in the description as well. But yeah, I kind of have mixed feelings about this piece overall because I struggled so hard with it. I fumbled with the colors so many times, and the outfit was so complicated that I just ended up replacing her shirt with a Spider-Man one. Also, I like Spider-Man, but anyway, I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't go with the initial pose where she was actually doing something with her arms, but overall, I think it's pretty, even though it took me a lot of tumbles to get there. So, yeah, I hope you guys like her. And I am very proud of the way her hair turned out specifically, like, that braid looks pretty nice. Also, it's a square canvas. I don't do those often. Kinda ironic that I just said I don't do square canvases often, but then showcased a piece where I used a square canvas. Anyway, it's just Oshawott the Pokemon being cute with his little boba tea. Nothing more, nothing less, just a cute piece of fan art, and it's simple. So, yeah. I don't have a problem, I swear. It's just another JoJo Bizarre Adventure fan art. Okay? At least this time it's from part 5 instead of part 6. Anyway, this fan art is of Bruno Bucciarati, and I just felt like being very experimental, so he doesn't have a face at all, and he has a kind of weird pose and there are petals everywhere. This is partly inspired by the poster that I have in my room, but yeah, it doesn't make much sense. It's just Bruno holding the arrow, and there's a lot of blues and yellows because they look good together, and yeah, I don't know what you want me to say about this. I did practically nothing with it. It's just supposed to look pretty, and I was just expressing how I felt that day. But I swear I'll talk a lot more for the next piece. Speaking of which, here it is. Yet again, another drawing that I presented in a different video, so yep, another one in the description for ya. I made this drawing after having not done digital art for a while, so it was pretty good and it got me out of a big funk, and it looks nice too. I really like the 3D effect on the bow tie. I think that's my favorite part of it. I really like the pose that I did, and I got a lot of inspiration not only from the FNAF movie trailer, but also from a Funko Pop I had of a tiny purple Springtrap as well. And the stars aligned for me here, and I really like what I made when I came down to it. I will say that the background I struggled with a lot because I didn't know what to do for it, and then I had to color correct it a lot, and then I contemplated pixelizing it or whatever, but I just kept it simple. Overall, this piece was kind of important for me to make, so I'm glad that it exists. Okay, for this one, I just wanted to do something very autumny feeling since it was October, I believe, and I had just finished drawing a cat for my art class, so of course I did Warrior Cats fan art, although you wouldn't be able to tell if I hadn't told you, but yeah, this is a picture of Brightheart, and she's just enjoying herself in the wild at a sunset, and stuff like that. It's very simple, not much to it, I just really like the colors. I also went for solid line art for once, instead of using a sketchy pencil tool. This was basically just a piece for me to relax and turn my brain off and do pretty oranges and warm colors. So yeah, I will say the background is kind of lazy, especially those trees, like I should have added a little bit more contrast or even texture to them, but I digress. This is just a nice wholesome piece, and that's all it is. Oh, and I put this art piece in another video, but I didn't talk about it that much in the video at all, so I think I'm just not gonna link it. You're welcome. Less homework for you, I guess. Anyway, the next piece, I'm really proud of. Okay, this is the last JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan art I'll have in this video. Okay. Anyway, this is of Dio Brando in part 1, where he's still a vampire. I think Vampire Dio is very underrated. They just kinda brush over his vampire abilities in part 3, but regardless, I really enjoy the colors of this one. That is the main thing for me. I also like how smooth his face is. I used a blending brush for his face for once, and I really liked how it turned out. I also did something a little bit out of my comfort zone and tried posing him in furniture. It didn't work out so well, I think, like his chest area is kind of awkward. You can tell that I draw chibi stuff, even though I didn't think it was chibi for a while. But yeah, it's just something I'll have to work on. Looking at it even more now, the proportions are a bit whack in quite a few places. Maybe I just need to study more anatomy, but regardless, I like this piece overall. Can you tell how much I like purple and blue? Can you? Anyway, if the Brightheart piece was supposed to be for autumn, then this piece is supposed to be for spring. Actually, this drawing is a redraw of an older drawing with the 2 deer characters. I slightly redesigned them and then put them in this photo because I thought it'd be fun. But yeah, the main thing for this is that I really like the effects and I really like the deer's new design. I will say I struggled a lot with the colors and specifically the sky and the tree, but hey, Brightheart piece, this is how you do a tree. Elegance, grace, fantastico. To be honest, I don't even know if that last one was a word, but yeah, I like the baby deer. Initially he was yellow, but I made him gray so that it suited it more, and I really like the top hat and the accessories they have overall, but I especially love the expression and the eyes on the mama deer. It's my favorite thing about it, honestly. Actually, I take it back. I think the shapes are the strongest thing about this piece. And the silhouette, of course. Finally, the last 2 drawings. I say 2 because they are basically a inverse of each other, so here they are. Ah yes, we have evolved from JoJo fan art to Invader Zim fan art. Basically, I just saw an older piece of Invader Zim fan art, thought it was bad, and then decided I needed to make new pieces instead. So that's what this is. I basically want the first drawing to be of Zim in his disguise. He's doing a pose, he has thin line art, and, of course, cool colors. You can also see Minnie Moose and Gur with him, and since he basically attends school for his job, I decided that he would be at a basketball court, because that's a schooly background, is it not? I think it is. I like his pose, I like the very strong shading, I really want to get very strong, solid cell shading kind of feel, and I also gave them nonsensical shadows, just because it was cool looking. Also, he's angry because he doesn't like humans. I basically traced over the previous piece, but I accidentally made the line art slightly thicker. It annoys me a little bit, but anyway, no Minnie Moose. I just didn't feel like drawing him again. But instead, Gur is out of his disguise, Zim is out of his disguise, and he has those He has that magnificent jelly bean looking thing to his eyes. I just really like Invader Zim's initial eyes, okay? I think they're very cute and pinky. I love the pink colors in his eyes. Anyway, I've been talking enough about that. Yeah, the background is basically their living room. I remember the monkey painting, I remember the couch, and another thought for this is that I was on, Christmas break visiting my family in Florida, and we just watched Invader Zim Enter the Florbus, so that was fresh in my mind, and it reminded me of how vastly different the color palette between the 2000 show and then the 2019 movie was, and I wanted to have that 2019 color palette kind of feel here, too. So, yeah. Day and night, the lonely Urkin tries to take control of Earth at night. I'm so good at poetry and stuff, wow. Anyway, warm colors versus cool colors, all of that jazz. I made both of these my wallpapers, and I'm happy with them. The end.